everybody, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, I'm your hostess, and today we are going to be working through some squash that was given to us. Now some of these are probably going to be too tough to use. If they are, I'm going to collect the seeds out of them and feed the rest of it to the chickens. But what I can use is going to be dehydrated, and I'm going to show you how to dehydrate your squash for long-term food storage. And there's a lot of things you can use dehydrated squash in. You can use it in soups, stews. You can rehydrate it and fry it. You can use it as a powder to thicken soups and stews or any dish that you want to hide a little bit of squash in. It would be really good in sauces, different things. And we are going to get busy here in the kitchen in just a moment, and I'll show you how to do this. Okay, I'm going to start by adding 1 teaspoon of citric acid. This will help preserve the color, and the dehydrating book doesn't give you this step, but I want to preserve the color as much as possible. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon to per gallon of water that I'm processing these in, and they're going to be blanched for 3 minutes in a hot bath. So we're going to get our gallon pitcher and get it filled and get this started. Then I've already rinsed these once, but I'm going to give these a good scrub because they are looking a little bit on the dirty side yet. My neighbor actually brought all these down. Some of them are pretty good size, and we want to get these dehydrated as fast as possible and get them into long-term storage. Now, if I had smaller squash, I would either freeze them or I would can it as pickle relish, a squash relish type deal. But these look like they're a pretty good size. These bigger squash, we used to take the zucchini and make zucchini bread out of them, so that's another option. I'll get this filled up. And I'm going to get this turned on, and we'll get this water boiling. I'm going to start with these larger ones. I just want to see how they look inside, if the flesh is good. I've got almost all of them rinsed off. You want to use some kind of brush to scrub with. And I'm using a bottle brush that I had handy. My brush gets sanitized quite often, so I know it's good and clean. And this looks like they might be a cross between a squash and a zucchini from the looks of them. And these things are humongous. Look at this. So we're going to start with these. I just wanted to show you it's not really hard to clean your squash. And the last one. And if these look good, I'm going to go ahead and dehydrate them. If not, they will go out to my birds. So I'm going to get a couple of buckets ready, and we'll start. I've changed the angle of the camera so that maybe you can see this better, but I'm just going to slice the end of this off. We're going to open this up and see what it looks like inside. That one's going to get fed to the chickens, and it doesn't have any seed for me to save. I'm going to go ahead and chop it up for them, though. Makes it easier for them to devour it. And they're going to get a little treat on this hot day. Put that in the scrap bucket. I got a seed I can save. We'll save that one. Okay, go on to the next one. This one looks okay. I'm gonna get something to see if I can scoop these seed out. And I'm going to save any of the viable seed that looks like they're going to be good. The rest of this seed pod part is going to the chickens. And we have got all the seed out of this and made a little boat. Stick that over there. I'm going to pull these seed out of here that look like they're good. Got a few more seed. We're going to go to the other half. And we're going to scrape the seed. the seed over there and get rid of this. I'm going to go ahead and cube this up. You can cube it, you can slice it. This is pretty big, so I'm going to go ahead and cube it up into 1-inch cubes. Get this in the bucket. Alright, y'all, I'm going to finish working on these big ones and then we'll get to the smaller ones. I'm going to show you again because I think the camera cut off on me. You're going in at an angle, like a triangle, and cutting down. You don't want to go all the way down, but you want to go down far enough that you can lift out. And you've got a few viable seed here that I'm going to pull out. You want the fat seed. You do not want the skinny seed. There's your fat seeds. And I'm going to continue down to the end. And that doesn't have any good seed in it. I have one stuck to my finger though. Then I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to scrape. Going all the way down and scraping out those seed. And I'm going to turn it and go to the other end. And just make sure I've got all those seed out. My timer's fixing to go off, so I'm going to get ready to scoop those over onto my tray. I'm going to try to keep them in a single layer over here. You can take the skins off if you want the skins off, but you're losing some of your nutrients if you do. And according to the dehydrator canning book, or the dehydration book that I have, 10 pounds of squash will dehydrate down to about 3/4 of a pound. And I have one tray of squash ready to go into the dehydrator. We're going to go ahead and drop some more squash into my hot water bath. And I'm going to set my timer again for 3 minutes. And we will be back. Just about got this old dehydrator trays filled. And we're going to move on to the Excalibur in a few minutes. I'm going to see if I can squeeze the rest of these that are in this pot onto these trays. A few more pieces in there. And alrighty, y'all. Put the top on. Get this on the dehydrator. I've already got it started, plugged in. Okay, got a little bit more to put into my hot water, and we shall be back at the end of this. We're just about at the end of this. Alrighty, y'all. My last 2 trays are not quite full, but they are full enough for me. And there are the slices. We're going to get these into our Excalibur, and I will be back like magic, YouTube magic, and show you the end results. Hey y'all, and it's the next day, and we have taken some of our squash off our Excalibur dehydrator. The other dehydrator is not finished, but you want this to be crisp like that. And these have been dehydrating for a little over 24 hours. We're going to get these jarred up, and then we're going to move on and see what we got left on the other dehydrator that needs to go into this one, because my old dehydrator is well over 20 years old. It is a lot slower dehydrating food products, and we're going to try to get as much of this jarred up today as we possibly can, but whatever's left over is going to go into this dehydrator so we can get it finished up. Alright y'all, we have successfully dehydrated the rest of the squash. This was the ones I cut into cubes, and we're just going to get this all jarred up. This all jarred up, and then we're going to get the sealer out and get it sealed, and this will be another long-term storage for our pantry. And this was all that squash that y'all saw at the beginning of the video that had been given to us. And I'm pretty sure it was well over 10 pounds of squash. This can be ground up into powders, or it can be dropped into soups. If you ground it up into a powder, you can use it as a thickener, but it can be used in soups and stews and all kinds of things, just to add a little more vegetables to your meals. If you want to do meals in jars and you want some squash in it, it's ready to go. We're going to try to push this on down in that jar. There we go. And I'm going to get my dehydrator over here. We're going to get this, not our dehydrator, our food processor over here. Okay, y'all, I'm just going to wipe the rim with a little bit of vinegar just in case any debris got on it. I'm also using a used canning lid where the rubber gasket's still good on it. I've got it centered on my jar. I'm going to add my attachment. Get my hose on here. Turn my machine on. It's set on dry, and I'm going to hit the accessory button. The accessory button right there. And we are sealed and ready to go in the pantry. All I got to do is label the top. Thank you for watching.